Over $2 billion in Kansas City projects are happening right now, and smart buyers are already paying attention. Most people think that these are just small upgrades here and there, but here's the thing. Every single one is planned to finish between now and next year. And when you see how they all connect, you'll get why this is the biggest change in Kansas City's history. The Riverfront alone is getting a $1 billion upgrade. That's a huge chance for early movers to get ahead. I'm Kelsey with Lakewood Homes and Land at Keller Williams, Kansas City North, and today I'm showing you exactly what's being built and why the timing matters more than ever. Let me start by showing you where the biggest change in Kansas City is happening, and it's probably not where you'd expect. The Riverfront area is turning into something totally new, and CPKC Stadium is right at the center of it. Now, this isn't just a stadium story. CPKC Stadium opened last March, and it's the first stadium in the country built just for professional women's soccer. That alone was a $140 million private investment, but the plan goes way beyond that. The stadium was made to anchor a whole new district. Around it, the Berkeley Riverfront is growing fast. They're building around 430 new apartments, 48,000 square feet of retail, and more than 2 acres of public space. So people can actually enjoy the riverfront again, walk around, hang out, and grab some food. And when you see how this connects to the West Bottoms revitalization, which we'll get to in a bit, you'll start to realize what Kansas City is really building here. It's not just one project, it's a web of neighborhoods that are finally starting to link together. Phase 1 broke ground in March 2025, and move-ins will keep going through 2026. That first phase alone has $200 million in private investment. That tells you these developers aren't messing around. But here's what really stands out. The full project is expected to be worth $1 billion over 15 years, and that's not a small neighborhood upgrade. That's a whole new district being built from the ground up. The stadium sits on about 10 acres at 100 Berkeley Parkway. It's already creating hundreds of jobs, and phase 1 alone is expected to bring in $48.8 million a year to the local economy. That's great news for Kansas City. It's money going to ripple across the entire area. Port KC has a 50-year lease on the land, so this isn't some short-term bet. This is a long-term, locked-in development, and that kind of stability draws even more growth. Here's the part I really want you to see. This Riverfront project is lining up perfectly with the new transit lines that are coming. I'm telling you, this Riverfront project, it's just the start of some major changes heading our way. If you want to keep up with how these projects are unfolding and what they mean for home prices and neighborhood growth, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. I drop new videos every couple of weeks, packed with local updates, market shifts, and behind-the-scenes info that you won't hear anywhere else. That way, when it's time to buy or sell, you'll be ready and ahead of everyone else in the game. Now, let's talk about how transit upgrades are about to change the way people move through Kansas City. And the timing couldn't be better with all the new developments popping up. The Main Street extension is adding 3.5 miles of streetcar track that'll stretch from downtown all the way to UMKC. It's set to open in October of this year, so it's almost ready to go. This new line includes 16 stops connecting downtown to Midtown, Westport, the Plaza, and UMKC. And for the first time, some of the city's most important areas will be linked by fast, reliable public transit. Keep in mind how these transit upgrades will totally reshape the 18th and Vine district we'll talk about soon. This cultural hub is going to be easier to reach than it's been in decades. And there's more. The Riverfront extension will create a direct streetcar route to CPKC Stadium in the new Berkeley Riverfront district we just covered. That line is expected to open in late 2025 or early 2026, which lines up perfectly with everything else being built. Track installation for the Riverfront line is already 100% done, which shows you just how close we are to seeing this new connection in action. That's some serious speed for a project this size. Now, let's talk numbers. The Main Street extension is a $325 million project funded by both federal and local dollars. The Riverfront extension cost about $60 million, including $14 million from a build grant. The rest came from local partners, though. The Main Street work started back in 2022. The Riverfront line began in early 2024, and that Riverfront track was fully built in just 14 months. That's impressive for any transit job, let alone one this big. These streetcar lines won't just support the new districts, they'll open them up to the whole city, and here's why that matters even more. They're setting the stage for entertainment spaces that'll take Kansas City to a whole new level, and that's exactly what I want to show you next. A world-class venue that could put us on the map for major live events. If you're into live music and big events, you're gonna love this next part. The Riverside Amphitheater will have 16,000 seats and sit on a 165-acre site protected by levees. This isn't some small local spot. It's being built to bring in major tours and national events. What makes this even more exciting is that Live Nation is one of their partners. They're investing $85 million into this, and when Live Nation gets involved, you know big name artists are coming. They don't build anything small. This venue is gonna be a game changer for Kansas City. It's not just about concerts either. When you see the sports venues we'll talk about in a minute, you'll see how this all fits together. The amphitheater will have 100,000 square foot canopy, 6,000 parking spots, and 13 extra buildings to help run big events smoothly. They broke ground in November of last year, and the grand opening is set for spring of next year. That timeline fits perfectly with everything else we've talked about. New developments, new transit, and new energy. The total cost is $135 million. Live Nation is putting in 85 of that. The state of Missouri is adding 20, and the city of Riverside is pitching in 5. That kind of teamwork shows how serious everyone is about how making a place this successful is a top priority. The location is just north of Horizons Parkway and I-635 in Riverside, Missouri. It's easy to reach from really anywhere in the metro with great access and visibility. This project is creating over 1,000 construction jobs and 500 permanent jobs once it opens. The economic impact during construction is $250 million, and once it's up and running, it'll bring in $70 million a year. Now we've got the Riverfront transformation, the new streetcar lines, and this major venue on the way. But hang on, because Kansas City is about to take it even further, we're about to host the biggest sporting event on the planet, and it's gonna change everything. Arrowhead Stadium is about to host something that'll put KC on the global map like never before. The stadium is set to host 6 FIFA World Cup matches in 2026. That means KC will welcome visitors from all over the world. This kind of spotlight can totally change how people see a city. To meet FIFA standards, the stadium needs some big changes. The field has to be wider, so they'll remove up to 10,000 lower bowl seats. That's a major shift, and it shows just how serious we are about doing this right. You'll want to keep that in mind when we talk about local business expansions in a minute. Even breweries are timing their growth to match this global crowd. Arrowhead is also getting new drainage and irrigation systems to meet FIFA's field rules. These aren't small fixes, these are full upgrades that'll keep the stadium in top shape long after the World Cup. The state of Missouri is putting in $50 million to help with all of this, and that shows how committed they are to making sure KC shines during this event. Arrowhead currently holds 76,416 people. That makes it one of the biggest World Cup venues. The upgrades will happen in phases. Phase 1 starts in spring of 2025 and the final work wraps up next summer. The match dates are set for June 16th, 20th, 25th, and 27th, plus July 3rd and 11th. That's 6 chances for Kansas City to show the world what we've got. Hundreds of thousands of people will be coming here during those weeks. The boost to our roads, economy, and visibility will last long after the games are over, and let's hope they fix the potholes by then. But while we're looking at the global spotlight, here's something else that's big that's happening here right at home. Let me take you to the historic West Bottoms, one of KC's oldest areas where a full transformation is already underway. This old district is getting a full makeover that'll turn 22 acres of KC history into a brand new neighborhood. We're talking $525 million of private investment across these 22 acres. That makes it one of the biggest private projects in Kansas City right now, and the size of it is hard to ignore. This plan includes 1,200 apartments, 168,000 square feet of new office space, 100,000 square feet of retail, and a boutique hotel. This isn't just a few new buildings, it's a full neighborhood being built from the ground up, with the old charm still kept in place. And when you compare this to the cultural growth happening in the 18th and Vine District, you'll start to see a pattern. KC's honoring the past while building for the future in 2 historic areas. Phase 1 includes 300 apartments and 10,000 square feet of commercial space. It's expected to wrap up by the end of 2026. That means people will start moving in right when the rest of the city's big projects are coming online. Full completion is set for 2038, and they'll build in phases. That gives them time to adjust if the market shifts. The location is just north of 12th Street between Hickory and Santa Fe. That puts it right in the heart of West Bottoms. Developers are working hard to keep the historic vibe while other modern features are being added that people want. Tax breaks include a 20-year abatement for phases 1 and 2 and a 15-year abatement for phases 3 through 5. Over the next 25 years, the project should bring in $62 million in tax revenue, with $58 million going straight to upgrade local infrastructure. They started tearing down the first buildings back in late 2023, so the work's already in motion. If you've driven through the area lately, which I have, you've probably seen it starting to change. Now we've got the riverfront, new transit lines, huge entertainment venue, the World Cup, and this massive historic rebuild. But there's still more. Kansas City's also investing in one of its most legendary cultural districts. The jazz heritage here is something special, and it's getting a fresh new look that'll bring back life to one of the city's most famous spots. That's right, 18th and Vine District is going through a full upgrade with several projects working together. This is where KC's jazz story lives, and the goal is to honor that while creating new energy. The 18th Street pedestrian mall is getting major upgrades to make it feel more welcoming and useful for both locals and visitors. These changes are part of the bigger Revive the Vine project. What's really smart is how this upgrade fits into the city's big plans for tourism. The idea is to make 18th and Vine a must-see place for people visiting from out of town. One thing they're looking at is linking the area to the streetcar line. That would make it much easier for folks all over Kansas City to stop by and enjoy the district. The jazz history here is huge. That's where legends like Charlie Parker got their start. So keeping that spirit alive while adding new features is a big deal for the city's identity. Have you ever experienced the jazz scene at 18th and Vine? Share your favorite spot or memory in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. So the city's planning team is making sure this area works well with everything else that's being built. It's all part of one big connected plan for the future. These upgrades are part of a bigger cultural push, and the goal is to build neighborhoods that are full of life. This place already has soul. The goal now is to build onto that and make it shine even more. Now, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about what all this could mean for pro sports in KC, including some big updates on where the Royals might end up next. There's a lot of talk about this currently in the city. The situation with pro sports facilities here in KC is still taking shape, but the upgrades for big events are moving fast. The Royals have not picked a final spot for their stadium yet, so there's still some waiting to see where baseball will land long term. But here's the thing, big improvements are already happening here regardless. One example, a temporary modular jail is being built ahead of the 2026 World Cup. That might not sound exciting, but it shows how serious the city is about getting ready for a global event. These upgrades are designed to help Kansas City handle big events, but they'll keep helping the city long after the games are over. This isn't just for show, it's real change. What stands out to me is how well the whole region is working together. Cities across the metro are teaming up to make sure visitors have a great experience during the World Cup. Even the airport and park departments are on the same page. When huge crowds come to town, everything from flights to green space has to run smoothly. And because it's all tied to a 2026 deadline, the pace is fast, but that deadline is helping keep everything on track. The best part, all of this infrastructure will still be in place when the World Cup ends. That means benefits for the city for years to come. And here's what I love. Even local business owners are getting involved in Kansas City's big moment. Let me show you how they're stepping up and planning for growth right alongside all of these big changes. Even Kansas City's breweries, like I said, are jumping in on all of this growth, and the timing lines up perfectly with 2026. KC Bier Co is putting $7 million into a new brewery that's planning to open just in time for the World Cup. That tells you local businesses see the big opportunity all this change is bringing. The new spot in Lenexa will handle more visitors from around the world, which means they're expecting tourism to grow here continuously. That kind of move shows real belief in what KC is becoming. This expansion is part of a much bigger push to improve hospitality all across the metro. Big events bring big crowds, and those crowds need places to eat, drink, and relax. The way local businesses are syncing up with city projects is pretty smart. They're making sure what they offer matches what visitors are gonna want. They're not sitting back and waiting. They're taking steps now so they're ready when those crowds show up. And because this is happening out in Lenexa, not just downtown, the whole region is gonna benefit. This isn't just a brewery story, it's part of a bigger plan that includes restaurants, hotels, entertainment, all putting it back into the same direction. And when you step back and look at everything we've covered today, you can see just how each piece connects to the next. This isn't just growth, it's a full transformation. When you look at all these projects coming together, the riverfront upgrades, the new transit lines, world-class venues, and historic revivals, you can feel the momentum. This transformation is going to shape Kansas City for generations. I'm telling you, the next few years matter big time if you're thinking about buying or investing here. These aren't just random projects popping up. They're all pieces of a bigger plan that's really coming to life. And if you want to know what all this means for your next home or your next move, shoot me an email at kelsey@lakewoodhomesandland.com today. The window to get in early in all these changing neighborhoods won't stay open for long. Whether you're planning to look for selling while prices are climbing or buy before everyone else catches on and interest rates potentially drop, I know these developments inside and out. I track this growth every day and can help you take full advantage of it. You don't want to be the one saying you should have moved in sooner. And if you're wondering which neighborhoods will gain the most from all these projects, go ahead and click the video right here. I'll walk you through every tier in Kansas City, from the riskier spots to the top areas where prices are rising faster than anywhere else. Click the video now and I'll show you where the best chances are hiding right here in Kansas City in plain sight. See you there and have a great week.